guys, welcome back to another YouTube video of Moments in Time with your girl Almira Lewis. It's been a while since I've done a chit chat. I've been doing more so a lot of vlogs, and I know that I've not been as consistent as I wanted to be, but it's my last year of grad school, and if you know anything about that, it can get hectic. So yeah, but anyways, not too much about me. This video is not about me at all. I have brought a friend with me today, and not just any friend, but a dear friend. So guys, as much as I love her, I want to welcome her into our community, into our space, and I'm going to give her just some time to introduce herself. She has a YouTube channel as well, so I give her some time to talk about that as well. So yeah, so her name is Aretha. And Aretha, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. So hi, my name is Aretha, and basically I've known this one for about 3-ish years, I would say.
Truna?
Yeah.
Hey!
Yeah. So,
That's a long way.
yeah, because I started working in the cafeteria 2020, and that's when I met you.
Ah. Oh yes, it's true.
Yes.
It's true. It's true. Okay.
So, yes. Okay. I don't even know what to say about myself. So really, someone that really likes hiking. I'm all over the place. Obsessed with cats. You know, I just love mental health, and like we have really amazing conversations about like healing and just growing mentally and cheering people up. I just love psychology and just everything dealing with the mind and human behavior and everything, and I just want to keep growing in life. And I feel like because we're on a similar journey of growing, it's easier to connect and relate to the different stories. And yeah, that's really what I'm about, I would say.
Okay.
And like I started a YouTube channel to show my hiking, my adventures, because my goal at one point is to go to all the 50 states and do a hike in each state. So I am 11 states down. I'm getting up there. So yeah, my channel is Ari Moves. We'll link it down in the description.
Check it out.
Me nah itch up and then a man arm like Roland. Boss position, so no boy can't try program me. Rebel from day one. Real bad girl, so no boy can't try program me. Me no need donation. Autonomous, can't try come program me. Nanny never go a war for me. Sit down in a 2020 slavery.
Okay, so we have rules for our conversation, and we have rules for those of you who listen to. The first thing we're going to try, I know sometimes some of you say that I yank without realizing, and I'm going to purposefully not yank.
Ooh.
So if you are not Dominican, if you're not a Caribbean person who understands, I will try to talk like as mild as like with a nice pace. Because I want this to be like a fully authentic video, and I don't want to like, you know, I love my accent as it is, and in America we've kind of adapted this code switching dependency, I would say.
Sure.
And so sometimes it comes out in the videos, and I'm just going to talk with my regular ass accent.
That's a valid statement.
So that is the first thing we want to do. The other thing is we are going to share our truths, and our truths may not be, I guess, a shared truth for every Dominican or for everybody, but it is our experience. It is, so that's a disclaimer. This is our experience of healing. We're not telling you to go and do exactly the steps that we did to get where we are. You can draw from it, but do what works best for you. We are not mental health professionals. We are not psychiatrists. We do not have doctorates in any shape, way, or form. So please take what we say with a grain of salt. Wherever you identify, you can draw from, but also make sure that you actually go to therapy if that's needed. Seek help where, like, the resources that are actually dedicated for help. So yeah, that's just a disclaimer. So, as Ari nicely put it, We have a lot of discussions about healing, about how we began our healing journey, how we got here, and what that entire experience has been. And if any of you know, I know lately there have been a lot of memes on TikTok, on Instagram about healing and making it seem like a trend. But it is not a trend, honestly. It is a decision that you make to genuinely like reassess, I think, like your core values, based on experiences that you had, based on things that you've accepted, and making a decision to like move forward and be better and accept better, but not right. So just asking Ari, I'm just gonna be asking her some questions about like her journey and sharing some of my own experiences, because I think they can be helpful for young women, especially our age group, because even today we were talking about there's such of this, I guess, epidemic, I can say.
right.
This epidemic of an obsession with romantic relationships, and that people not valuing the intimacy that can be found within friendships as well. And like she said, we've known each other for like 3 years. So even within our our dynamic, how has our dynamic or like your friendships taught you about intimacy as compared to like a romantic relationship?
I feel like, let me just say, I feel like let me try and not code switch. So, it's a force of habit, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, it's bad.
After 4 years of doing it, it's okay, wait. So I feel like in certain ways, being in a relationship with, let's say, any partner and your friends, it's kind of similar in certain aspects, but completely different at the same time. Because like you can have that kind of relationship with your partner and just be like gushy and lovey-dovey and say everything, but I feel like with friends, although you can say everything with friends as well, it's like the things that you are allowed to say and the way that you're allowed to say it, it is completely different.
Okay. How so? Different in what way?
Okay. So I might say to you, oh my god, I hate how that dress fits me, blah blah blah, it makes me look this way, blah blah blah. And you might say, change that dress, yes, because I see what is happening, and you don't see it as me damaging myself, like it's just me acknowledging that the dress doesn't look good. And maybe a partner might say like, no, the dress is fine, you're beautiful, which is true, but it doesn't necessarily deal with what I'm addressing,
so would you say your friendship dynamics have helped you? Has it created, okay, so what I'm getting, right, is that you're saying that friendship dynamics create a safer space than in a relationship, because in a relationship your partner is more concerned about your feelings than telling you truth.
Yes,
the truth that you need.
Yes, in a sense.
Okay.
In most cases, a lot of it is like, I want to make sure this person is okay. I want to make sure my partner is okay. So I don't want to say damaging things.
Okay.
But it's like, in a friendship, you kind of give the person as soon as you become friends, it's like, okay, you're allowed to hurt me.
not like in a negative way.
You're allowed to hurt me just a little bit, But as long as you're honest with me, like, give me the hard truth. I feel like that's what every friendship comes with,
But then, so then my question would be, at what point do you draw a line between hard truth and then you just being mean? Because some people are like, I just like to tell the truth. No, you just lack empathy. You just lack empathy. Like everything, you cannot tell people they have you for everything. Sometimes you can keep your truth to yourself, right? So at what point? No, like you just sometimes some people are just like, I just tell the truth.
No, okay.
Shut up.
First of all, right? I have a problem with that, right?
Yes.
Because, okay, growing up, I would say seemingly mean things, but it was like, it was just me being honest. But I just didn't know how to say things in the best way. So like my intentions were pure and I tried to always be honest and transparent, but it just wouldn't come out in the best way. So people be like, why are you so mean? Why are you so mean to guys? Why? I'm just like, I'm not mean, I'm just being honest. And it's not like I'm cursing you and I'm telling you what your mother did. It's not like I'm saying any of those things. I'm just saying like, hey, Like, you're not the best looking person. Okay, I am stretching the joke. I'm stretching the joke. But you know, like, I'm giving an example. It's not like, it's an example. Okay?
Okay.
Like, you're not the best looking person. Like, so you shouldn't be behaving like that. But to me, that would be like the truth. But then to someone else, it's like, oh my god.
So then how? Okay, so then my question then would be, how does your truth bring? Okay, because remember we are talking about intimacy within friendships compared to romantic relationships. So how does your truth, like you telling your friend the hard truth? I think what I'm trying to say is, in what ways have you communicated the truth that still conveys love, as opposed to like, I'm trying to like really hurt you?
I would say a lot of it is incorporating humor is the best way for me, at least.
Okay.
So, okay, I at least try to gauge what kind of jokes my different friends can take.
Yes.
So I know how far I can stretch the joke and how much I have to add fluff before I lay it out there. You know?
Okay. Because I see, because for me too, I think that like with certain friends, I know there are certain jokes that I can make.
Yeah.
And then certain other friends, depending on, especially like trauma that they have expressed to me, I will not like say certain jokes because I know it's a trigger. And then even talking about triggers, I feel to like in my friendships in terms of intimacy, my friends I feel have a deeper understanding oftentimes of triggers than I have expressed with like romantic partners or like people I've been interested in, because I feel too in our society we often have this push from social media or whatever to present a false version of ourselves, especially at the very beginning to our partner, because you see these memes where like initially your girlfriend is always dolled up and then as she gets comfortable you wonder what happened.
The bonnet.
And when auntie come out all of a sudden you checking butts. Where was the person? But it's like I am changing that now, like how I present myself to people I'm interested in, because of my healing journey, and we'll get to that whole healing talk. But even like I feel like in my friendships, I feel like people are more comfortable coming into their friendships with their authentic truth and like just being their authentic self. So I think even that too kind of opens up the door for like the kind of human honesty, because I feel like we go into friendships with a little bit more honesty than we go into our relationship.
That is true.
So I think that so I think that is something we may want to think about and start changing. Like, no, when you just meet somebody, you don't need to belch and have baggies.
Please.
Have a little decorum, but at the same time, don't like almost like shift so much that it's like you need to keep that up in the relationship, and it's like you're feeling like exhaustion because you have to keep up a pretense. Whereas with your friends, you're just telling them everything. Like, I think we really need to change that. Especially for women though, because I feel like a lot of men, I'm not a man, I always I do tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like in most cases I've seen men be a little, even sometimes I feel like sometimes men are a little too honest and women just sometimes
continue your point.
So, not all the time, maybe because I know what it is to have dishonest men in your life. A lot of them are not very honest, but I mean in terms of like presenting, like men will say what they want, even if you don't really like it. Like they will tell you, I'm not really interested in you, it's just sex I want. Like a lot of them have said it, even not just verbally, but they have done the actions that show that. Whereas women will often be like, I have to be prim and proper and I have to be this version of what society thinks is acceptable as a woman. And then with our friends we laugh deeper, we talk however we want, whereas we try to keep up this like facade of what we need to be.
But I also feel like, okay, with friendships, it's like if I'm trying to be your friend and you're just like, please, then I'm just like, okay. But if I try to pursue someone and they're like, then there's a lot more emotions involved with that. So I feel like there might be like a little pressure to be extra, like be perfect in a sense when you're presenting yourself to your partners, because you're just like, there's a higher sense of like, there's fear with rejection when it comes to partner.
Yes. So that rejection thing. Okay, guys. So now we get into the like deeper thing.
Okay, so question. Okay, so a lot of my friendships have been like us talking, having conversations, like personal conversations. But how I am as a person is, if you come to me with some problem, I take that problem. I'm just like, okay, this is mine. So like all the problems of my friends, I would grab onto them and be like, hey, okay, this is mine. Not intentionally, but it's like, it's kind of like I want to help them, so I want to get into the space of mind. That's the right way to phrase it. That they're in, you know?
Okay, so was it a coping mechanism thing, or was it just like, I want to just show up? Okay, guys, when we say show up, that means like, how can I explain showing up? Like, showing up is like making yourself available to yourself and to others. So what that would look like, so showing up for yourself would be like, for example, sometimes we overextend ourselves, or we give like, for example, as mothers, you know how mothers give everything to their children, wives give everything to their husbands, then we give, when we go work, and we still give work everything that we have, and at the end of the day we have nothing for ourselves. Showing up for yourself is making yourself available to yourself. So that means self-care, like sometimes shorting off other people so you can fill your cup and then go on to fill other people's cup. And then showing up for others is then making yourself available to other people. So once your cup is filled, that is when then you can begin to pour into the cups of others. You do not extend yourself to the point where your cup is empty and you're giving others from exhaust fumes. You will burn, and that is where I think burnout also comes from with a lot of women, particularly. They overextend themselves, and even women that are not mothers or wives. Just like, I think women are just expected to just give themselves freely to the world, and then at the end of the day, we are kind of painted as selfish for wanting time for ourselves. And if there are men also who experience that, you know, men are expected to be providers and provide, and expected to just protect. And then at the end of the day, you may experience not feeling protected yourself. So there should be some self-care at the end of the day for yourself. So that's showing up for yourself. And then once you have filled your cup, then you can show up for others. So just wanted to clarify. Because I think not everyone knows what those things mean. So like, that makes sense. Okay, so and then I asked her now if that was a coping mechanism.
I would say in a sense it was, because it was like, okay, at the time I feel like I personally had this fear of rejection as well. So it was like, I tried my best to make sure that my friends didn't feel rejected by me. Wow. So I took on their problems so that they would feel like I was truly there, I was listening, I was riding through the storm with them, you know? So,
Because, okay, so something I would often say is, or something that's often even posted on social media is quote unquote check on your strong friends kind of vibe. But I am changing that word strong to just check on your friends. Because the connotation that you or someone else is the strong friend, like, removes every other vulnerable or like seemingly weak emotion from that person. So it's like, for example, if somebody like my friend see me as like strong, then that removes all room for me to then be depressed,
a human being,
sad, angry. Like, I'm just supposed to be like, I'm gonna make it.
You can do it.
And then people treat you like that, like they're saying, "Oh, but you're strong, man.
Right, you can do it.
Oh, you have it, man. I know you, man.
Don't worry."
And then you just left, like, you carrying everybody else's problems plus your own.
That's very true.
Plus your own, which is
no one should do that. I do not recommend.
So even when you say you did it from like a place of rejection, I feel that too, because I feel even for like my own self, a lot of people I have like helped at the time that I helped them, I did not even have space to help myself. like, and I was burnt out, I was exhausted, but I felt this need because like I didn't want to lose that friendship, or I didn't want to like make them feel like, I guess, rejected by me, because I had felt that in the past, that like I had to like be a part of their struggle and we're in it together.
So it's kind of like a fear of not wanting to perpetuate the whole spirit of rejection that causes you to act that way.
Right. But then, you know what I realized? I realized that it is okay to not take people's problems as yours.
Yes.
You can show empathy without being so like invested in somebody's problem.
Yeah.
And also, there is room for saying no. Yeah. I do not have the space right now to help you with this situation. Or I can guide you to like
someone who's a professional.
Someone who's like a little bit more capable. Yeah. Or I can guide you to like internet resources like YouTube videos or whatever that have helped me, because I don't have the capacity. And it, you know, when you start telling people I don't have the capacity, it's like you freeing yourself. Like you don't use it as a cop-out.
But yeah.
Because sometimes you actually have the capacity to help somebody.
But you actually acknowledging that, hey, this is where I am mentally. Right. I'm not able to help you in that way. Right. I'm just letting you know. And also telling myself, hey, it's okay. You can't do it right now.
Yeah, you know? It's okay, man. Once it
right? Just sit down.
Sit down. Please. And I feel like even like for like if there are mothers or like undergrad students or just women, like, so I refer to women a lot because I am a woman, and I know like a lot of times I have seen women constantly, even my own mother, extend beyond where our hands can reach. Yeah. Garson Alice go and sit down if you cannot do it. You don't have to be everything for everybody. My girl. Right. Or my boy, because I know some boys, some of all elas. Although we have some, we'll get to that already. That's why my healing starts, you know, but God is good. But you know, like, it's okay to sit.
It's literally okay.
Yeah, and it's okay to say no. But like, continue. So you came from this place of rejection. No, I feel like that so deeply.
No, honestly.
Because like, I always felt like, no, you have to help the man because you want them to feel like you don't care.
Like you don't care. Exactly. Yeah. And you want to make sure you show up for them and you want to be there, you know? Yeah. So like, continuing on that. So like, that is why I basically did all of that. So I would like grab all of this and then I would burn out. And then like I would offer advice, unsolicited advice, but I would offer the advice just because I felt like, okay, if this is a problem that you're going through and you're coming to me, that must mean that you want a solution. Yeah. So now the pressure is on me. I'm just like, okay.
The pressure is getting worse. Okay.
What can I do to help my friend? Yeah. So I'm thinking of a million things. I'm just like, hey, you could do this, you could do that, you could do this. I'm taking time that I could be doing, working on myself, you know, doing personal things. Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, this person could do this. I'm doing research, I'm finding everything that you can do. So you were actually trying to sort, you were not just like taking it on and like feeling bad, but you're actually like, I was trying to resolve I'm just like, okay, this is the equation, we're getting it done. We're getting it done. So and that in itself was like a whole
because then where does that leave? Because then my question then is because even for me, I often every time someone brings an issue to me, I often say to myself, okay, I feel the need to help you with this, but then where's the room for myself? And it's not like a selfish perspective, but I am learning to allow especially adults to adult.
Facts. Okay. Facts.
I'm learning to let adults adult.
Because you can't think for everybody.
Because I cannot parent you, babes. Right. Your mother was supposed to parent you. Your father was supposed to father you. They didn't father or mother you. And no, because of all the trauma you experienced in your childhood, you are now making decisions that are kind of repetitive. And then you come, then even me, I've gone to some of my friends in the past, maybe sometimes now, and I come to the same problems. And then there comes a point where you have to really be honest with your friend and say, babes, this is a recurring cycle. And I think instead of coming to me with the same problem every time, maybe you need to start reassessing where that problem comes from and trying to figure out why does it always look. For example, right? A lot of women keep saying, I am attracting the same man. The same man. And then you know what I realized? That I had to face an honest truth in myself. At when that is when my healing started. My healing started when I came to the realization that I was looking and I was reconnecting with my father in different forms. And it's like, you know, some things are just hard truths.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to just give us a guada
Honestly, listen.
A guada prop with the truth.
Honestly.
Or you attracting your mother in different forms, or you grew up in a household that was like extremely neglectful, and so now you attach sex to intimacy, and so that's why you are always chasing around sex but then feeling empty. Like for people who do that, chasing sex and then you feel empty, you just need empty. It might just be that you need a little hug, because nobody will hug you when you're growing up. Like simple hard truths. I think we need to start like really strong and say, boy, I see in these and these patterns. And then even as like the quote unquote strong friend, I feel like the moment I began saying to like when I began giving myself hard truths, I was then able to tell some of my friends, hey babes, but in a very loving way. Because I think how you communicate things is what makes the difference. And I am trying more and more now. Like you keep hearing me saying, God give me empathy. God give me empathy. God give me empathy. Because I do not want to ever come off as like I superior or I judging you or like I whatever. Because I am no way perfect and my healing journey is in no way finished. Like
exactly.
There's so much work that I need to do and I am trying my best to do. But it's like, I feel like at some point, we are still adults.
Be adults, right?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Like you cannot take on the problems of the world.
But then the thing is, on that note, the thing is like, sitting with yourself is one of the most painful things that you can experience. And a lot of people run from that. Because like, even when they just sit in silence, their mind just going, and then the thoughts, you start bringing back bad thoughts and all of the things that happened to you when you were a child. And a lot of people don't like to readdress those situations.
And not just things that they're a child, right? Because some people cannot make the connection yet between childhood and adulthood actions.
Sure.
So I think even with just like basic like experiences, so for example, something will happen, and then, for example, if you going, for example, like I was sharing recently with a friend, you are going from relationship to relationship, and you have never sat once and said, all of my relationships are ending in the same results. I think I need to take time and figure out what I want. Or all of my friendships end in the same way with the same fights about the same things. Right. Or like I have the same quarrels with my parents or my siblings or my whatever. Is there something that I'm really not facing? So it doesn't even have to be you making a connection between childhood. Like it could be every time you and your mother fighting about the same thing. The same thing. You and your boyfriends fighting about the same thing. Your girlfriends fighting about the same thing every time.
All of that, you're the common denominator. Like
right.
Only you can change.
And that is not so. No, let's also make a separation between victim blaming in certain areas and when you need to take accountability. Because I think too, as a Caribbean culture, for example, in cases of domestic violence, I am not saying that if a man beating you, every time you're in a relationship and a man beating you is your fault. No.
That's not.
If a man is emotionally, sexually, physically, all the least abusing you, girl, run. If a woman is doing that to garçon, run. Hit the door.
Honestly.
Right? So I want to make that clear distinction. In terms of instances of pedophilia, the older person, I am not going to victim blame the younger person who's a teenager or a child or
which
whatever.
Is the norm
especially in the Caribbean, like in the Caribbean culture, alas.
Honestly, it's always like the little girl was doing this. She wanted to go. Just like how? What?
No. Like I want to make that clear distinction between victim blaming or people who have been raped or essayed multiple times. It is not your fault. I want to make that crystal clear. And that's what makes somebody answer. But yes. But when I refer to accountability, I am talking about the decisions that you are making intentionally that are influenced by subconscious thoughts. So things that you are not even necessarily thinking about that are influencing the actions that you are making that you may not be realizing. Because even for me, one of the things I realized I used to do is shut down when like conversations were happening, and I realized that that was a little bit of avoidant attachment, in the sense that I felt like, so growing up I felt like somebody bringing their concern would create noise. And so growing up, without saying too much, I grew up in a household where there was a lot of noise. Right? And noise was always, there was a lot of noise in the form of quarrel. So I internalized that, and I only realized that later on through like therapy and whatever, that I believed expressing concern or disapproval of something equals noise.
That makes sense.
Right. So like when I realized like, oh, the reason I shut down when communication is trying to happen is because I equate it to noise. So like my brain couldn't make the differentiation between this person is just saying what they need from me and what their boundary is, as opposed to like they coming at me. And I really had to like sit with myself and be like, oh, in what ways have I shut people off when we could have solved things with just open communication?
But see, the thing is that's what I'm saying, sitting by yourself and just allowing your mind to run, which is the scariest place. But you have to sit in that moment and actually think, okay, I do this and I do that and blah blah blah, and that's when your mind will actually reveal all of the things that you do. You're just like, wow, I don't even know I do that, or I didn't even know that happened, or I remember that. You know?
And then sometimes the realization, I think, the realizations also often come through experiences, but because if you are not ready to face the realization, because I think every single person's gut at some point begins to tell them, hey, check yourself.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I think we tell ourselves, I think we are more honest with ourselves than we are with other people.
Very much so.
And I think we are hard on ourselves. So I think there's a like everyone's got like is pushing them towards like healing, or towards doing something. But I think certain people are either really comfortable in like, because they're always saying if you keep rolling with the pigs, you will stay a pig. Right? So some people are really comfortable in their mess that they are not ready to be like, and I just want to say, do things when you are ready, but just know that there is always space and room to grow. Always.
In every aspect of your life, honestly.
Yeah.
Except for height, because I can't go anymore.
Grow finish there. Boy.
Listen.
Yeah.
When the conversation of healing is just so intense, it's hard to just
talk about everything.
Right?
It's like healing is not linear.
It's not.
Right. Like healing to me is like, you know when they say life is a journey? Listen. Healing is a journey.
And the transport no good.
Because sometimes it's just about breaking down in the middle of the road.
Free tires at times, listen.
Because it's like all you guys know, tell you. Sometimes in healing you repeat cycles, and then you're like, I thought I was working on that, man. Shit. But it's like, let me tell you what that is. It's not that you're not working on it. And the other day I saw something on Super Soul Sunday with Oprah and one of her guests, and he said that when you are actively working on something, it is going to repeat itself, because life is offering you another opportunity to do it differently.
Ooh.
Life is offering you another opportunity to do it differently, and you failing at doing differently is just showing you that there is another part in this thing that you're experiencing that you have not fully dealt with. And then you need to chip away at it more. For example, right? Let's say it's like somebody building a statue. The stone does not become the statue in one day.
One strike.
Slowly by slowly, you chipping away. Or for example, people who go into the gym, you want to lose weight. The fat not going to melt today for tomorrow.
Right.
Slowly, the fat will melt away as you exercise, as you work on it, you work it out. Right? That is healing. That is how you can frame your mind around healing. Every day, when you do, you say, okay, God, I'm going to communicate a little more. And I think to our healing is even an extension, I guess, of faith. Because
a lot of it.
Healing, I think, requires grace for yourself.
Yes.
And if you don't necessarily believe in God or whatever, the grace is still falls within some dimension of your experience. Because grace is you basically giving yourself room to be human.
Yeah.
And room to make mistakes. But I say grace is an extension of our faith because I think I lean on God a lot to be like, okay, this is something I've realized about myself, and I am not particularly sure how to tackle it. Give me room to love myself more, even as I learn to overcome this thing.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Honestly, and like a lot of the times, I'll be praying and I'm telling God, like, okay, I've never traveled this far before. Like, the whole healing journey is new to me. Like, consistently healing is new to me. I should say that. So it's like I'm telling God, like, hey, I have never gone this way before. So take the wheel because I will crash the vehicle. Like, that's just what it is, you know. And like every day I'm learning. Okay, I have to be kind to myself. I have to show up for myself. Like, I have to be there to at least tell myself, okay, you are not, like, kind of like we were talking about the friends and not being capable of doing the things. Tell myself that, hey, you're not lazy, you're not stupid, like, you're just exhausted. You're just like, acknowledge the things you would tell your friends. Tell yourself. You know?
Yes. Giving yourself the love that you want someone else to give you.
That
and
is it.
Even more than someone else will give you. Because I think we lean too much on other people to show us love. And then even like, so even like when people ask me what the hell is self-love, actually, I think self-love is everything you would have done for a romantic partner or for a friend, you do it for you. So if you would have like encouraged your friends when they were at their lowest, encourage yourself. If you would have taken your partner on dates, take yourself on dates.
And it sounds stupid too. But actually, like, if you just wake up one day and you just write a love note and then you just stick it on your mirror.
On your mirror, that's how I do it. I did that too.
But honestly, that is a really good way to just see those things, encouraging
and
words.
in every morning, what I do personally is I every morning when I wake up, first thing I do is I get up, I look at myself in the mirror and I say, girl, you nice, sweet girl.
Listen,
girl, you're going to have a nice day. Babes, you pretty, I love you. Like, so at first it feels weird because you're like, why am I talking to myself in a mirror?
It does.
But eventually the things that you are saying, it bounces from all that mirror and it becomes a part of you. It genuinely becomes, and even as like as a spiritual person, because I don't even say like I'm Christian or I'm this or I'm that, because I no longer think like within just like a Christian lens, but as like a spiritual person, I often believe that your spirit is connected to your words and your thoughts. So I say what I need my brain to receive. So I say to myself, you are beautiful, and my brain picks that up, and then my entire body. Honestly, guys, there is a shift in perspective that happens without you realizing.
Honestly. And a lot of it is like reprogramming your mind, because you are your beliefs. So if you believe that you're stupid, you're lazy, then you're going to stay stupid and lazy. But if you tell yourself, like, hey, I'm intelligent, I'm strong, I am this, I am that. Like, you just keep on telling yourself that, then over time you will believe those things and you'll start acting on it, you know?
I agree.
Honestly, all you have to do is start telling yourself. So, like, all what you're saying that's negative, change that and start saying the positive side of it.
And that can be also even a place like where your healing can start.
And even if you don't believe it, because
at first I didn't believe it.
Right?
No. I would be the first one that say, girl, boy, that will point. Girl, please stop. Girl, no. You used to be so small and trim and this and that and that.
Listen.
But then I say, but God, why putting myself down?
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Nah. Why am I doing that to myself?
Exactly. And then you expect someone to come in and fix all of what you're telling yourself. All those bad things you're telling yourself. So.
I just checking, no, I don't do that anymore, eh? Shit that.
Okay, but a question to you though.
Yeah.
So like, in basic conversations, like with friends and with relatives, what is it after those conversations that make you say like, hey, like, I need to work on that area? So do you sit and do you analyze every conversation, or is it like, this conversation made me uncomfortable, let me sit and think about what happened, and then you learn what really triggered you?
I think is also option B.
Okay.
So like it will not be every, because you cannot be in your head every single minute, right?
Valid.
But I think like, so for example, was it last Christmas or last summer?
Okay.
Jesus, when my brain go right Christmas. Summertime.
Christmas.
Like I had a very intense conversation with my family in like we were all there, right? And then I got so riled up and I realized that I was angry about other things, and then I like kind of like dumped it onto my family, and then I was like, oh, and then I started crying in front of them, and like they didn't know what, and I couldn't even explain why I was so heated about the talk I talking about AA. Because even like at the end of the day, like I went into the room and I was like, where all that emotion, that anger, and you crying come off? What? Because I knew it wasn't really them, but it's like it just burst. Like, you know when you have a dam and you keep the water keeps building up, and then it just bursts, and then like I have to even apologize to my mother because like I burst on my mother. Like I was like, my mother, I'm frightened. She's like, what? No, because no, it was bad. And then even talking to like my little sister and everybody, and they're like, yeah, you outburst.
You also,
And then I really sat down and I realized that I was angry about other things. But then in my lack of communicating about what I was truly angry about, it built up, and then something seemingly small, I overreacted for that thing, right? Whereas I could have just simply communicated to whomever had hurt me or whatever I was going through, that I was going through this and I just needed some space to just... And then I've also, so then that's one thing I learned, and that's something I'm still working on, like really clear-cut communication, like this is how I'm feeling about this specific thing, and this is how it impacts me and whatever. The other thing that I realized is that I do not need to be perfect. Because growing up, I felt that I needed to be perfect so that I could kind of like relieve my mother, reduce household stress, like be the very like good child, like be good.
I can relate to that.
Right, be good, be responsible, be this, be that. And that caused me to kind of like shut down my emotions. So like I would see anger, sadness, and all those things as bad emotions. And so I would have this false sense of hyper positivity that is like I was denying myself accessing emotions that actually told me, hey, this is what this is what you need to face. So like I think it's experiences that have taught me really like, hey, this is what you need to like look out for, and this is what you need to learn. But then those experiences do not tell you how to heal. They just help you. Something is there. They just tell you something is wrong. But then what you need to do then is like I started doing like research. Like I started watching YouTube videos on like improving communication with friends, and like how do you frame, how to say things with love. And then I started watching videos about learning how to better identify emotions, because I think people just go with I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm this, but you may just be, it's okay to say, oh, I'm jealous, oh, I'm disappointed,
I'm grieving,
oh, I'm grieving. Like there are so many other emotions than just happy sad.
Happy sad.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's really what we
I'm
learn,
depressed.
Yeah, as soon as you sad, you're depressed. Not saying that you cannot be depressed, but at the same time, it's like truly
learning language for emotion.
Yes.
And I really began to study like words that can truly express my emotion. Oh, I'm surprised by this person.
Yes.
And what they did. Like, I'm actually surprised. I'm not like disappointed, because I realized, and a lot of the emotions can be confused.
Yeah.
And I also realized with myself too that I went oftentimes towards anger because anger felt like power, as opposed to like just being like saying, oh, this anger is masking deep sadness about this thing. I'm actually deeply sad.
Yeah.
But because sadness, I associated sadness with weakness.
Like, yeah.
I was
that makes
like,
sense. That makes sense.
I was like, Gasson!
That makes sense. Mine is ambulance first. But no, honestly, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
And like a lot of it too is like when you identify those feelings, it's hard to kind of vocalize it to people.
Yeah.
Like especially like when if you know the people around you aren't as like emotionally intelligent as you would like, and you're just like, you know, my father said this and it made me I was offended.
Yeah.
Immediately someone might be like, why were you offended? It's your father. Like he obviously didn't mean it in a bad way.
Yeah.
But they're not actually figuring out why were you offended? What did he say?
Yeah.
What did his words touch on your end? You know? So it's like
so learning, so for me, even this all that is about healing. So it's not just about like becoming, so self-awareness is I think the first step.
Yes.
And then finding tools to actually work on whatever the problem is. Because a problem without tools is just a problem.
It's just
like
a problem. Yeah.
It's like having a foundation and you don't have no order, you don't have no wood, nothing to finish building the house.
Nothing.
It's just a foundation.
Yeah, but you can.
It's just a foundation, air is gonna be passing through it. So that is like people who are just like, oh, I have this problem, and they do nothing beyond this problem. Like the problem is just there. They just know it there. And they're just repeating the same cycle because they're not doing anything.
You're not doing anything to work on it.
But then the other thing now is, I don't want you to get so stuck in self-awareness that you just, I self-aware, and you think self-awareness is healing.
Yeah,
that's a common thing I see a lot of people are doing.
Not.
That they think just being aware that something is there, they think it is healing.
That is healing.
Or some people just say, I healing.
Oh yeah.
You are healing. Oh, Cafe, what you doing? I healing, okay.
Affirmations. I'm healing today.
Yeah.
I'm not making fun of anyone.
I don't know where the healing is.
Like you actually have to do the work, and that is what a lot of people are fearful of doing. I would say, because it's like some people become so comfortable in that whole state of complaining about things. It's like the norm to say, like, you know, this is bad and this is bad and this is bad and this is bad. Like, hey, yes, I understand that this is bad. I'm not trying to minimize your struggle, you know, but everybody have a struggle, you know, but I feel like it takes a really strong person to say like, hey, I am struggling, I've been struggling for like 5 years.
Yes,
how am I going to not struggle anymore?
And then even a part of healing too, I want to say this, is also identifying that some of us have mental health disorders.
Yes. That is a very big part of it.
Especially like Caribbean culture. I don't think a lot of us pay enough attention to things like bipolar, depression, anxiety, etc., etc. I think some people, it might not even just be childhood trauma, but it might actually be that there is a mental health disorder that is also causing you to make certain choices based on the emotions that you're experiencing during, I guess, a manic episode or a depressive episode or whatnot. Like, acknowledging that is also a very important, and you cannot get to that point like without a psychiatrist because it has to be diagnosed. But at the same time, I think that can be a part of some people's healing, and I think some people's deliverance from the weight that they feel, because I've heard that particularly a lot of men have expressed to me that they have this glooming sadness that causes them to make certain life choices, and they cannot get rid of this sadness just on them, and it's like they don't know how to express this sadness, and they don't know how to. It is okay to realize that, hey, something is wrong, even beyond like triggers and trauma and blah blah blah, and I actually might need to see a doctor because I might have deep depression, as a man, I want you to know that it is okay to be vulnerable. It is okay to be
with
sad.
the right people, though.
Yes, the right
Please
people.
know your circle.
Yeah, because some people who just say like laugh at men for expressing that they've been abused or they're sad. Or, like to me, it's like it doesn't click for me. But I also think it's the need for hyper masculinity.
Yes,
and men need to be this way and blah blah blah.
The influence of culture, because like especially being from the Caribbean, if the guy isn't like providing, if he isn't tough, it's like, what's wrong with him?
Yeah.
So a lot of guys grow up with that kind of mindset. Like if I'm weak with a woman or if I'm doing this, then something is wrong with me. I'm not following the script that I'm supposed to follow. You know, so that's a lot of pressure as well.
Yeah, that's a
lot of pressure.
So yeah, guys, healing is a lot, but we are going. It is a wave.
Honestly.
It sometimes can be a lifelong journey, but I don't want you to stay in I don't want you to stay in it like it's a coma. Like it's an extended lifelong coma. Right. Healing, you're supposed to heal while actually living life.
Yes.
So you do not cut yourself off from people. You do not cut yourself off from family.
Yeah.
You can heal while having your support systems and your connections. You can heal while having children and everything. You can heal and still have a life. Okay?
Yeah, you can. So
you can heal and still date. You can heal, and if you want to be single, but healing should not cut you off from real life. I just want to make that clear. And so this was a good conversation. Thank you so much, friend.
We needed to do this because we talk about the phone all the time, and we have these elaborate conversations about healing and trauma and stuff. So it's just really good that we could sit and we could just. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yes, but if you guys want to know more, comment below. As Ari said, I'm going to leave her YouTube name in the description box below. It was a very deep conversation. So if you realize anything about yourself during this conversation, take a moment, breathe, and then I hope you have a blessed day, a blessed week. Love you guys.